Welcome back to Lamppost Builds. Today in the What Now workshop, I'm going to be building a new workbench. It seems that the table that I'm using right here, I'm running out of room on it, and it's really not very good for doing stuff on. There's not enough room. So what I decided to do is build a workbench that I could move around, so if I needed to set certain things up or do certain things and needed that room, that I would be able to do so. A friend of mine, he built a workbench of his own, and I asked him to send me a picture of the one that he built just to kind of get an idea, and I kind of liked it. It's not going to be the exact same, but it's going to be pretty similar. So that's what we're going to do today. I'm going to spare you all the cutting and all the nailing, but I will show you things along the way. So let's get started. Okay, so we have our top built. I got all the pieces of wood cut and nailed together, and then I've got a piece of 3/4 that I screwed onto the top. That's going to be our top of our workbench. Now what I need to do is I need to flip this over so I can start attaching the legs, because what I've got is I've got 4x4s that are going to be going right here in this corner on both ends of this piece, and then underneath of that is going to be a shelf that's about half the size of this. Okay, so at this point I have my table made and I have my legs attached for my workbench. And now what I need to do is I'm going to build another shelf that's actually going to be closer to the floor. So I'm going to get that built and attached and put the caster wheels on that I decided to put on the bottoms so I can roll it around. And then we should be about done. All right, so our workbench is put together. I got, the top done, and I've got a shelf underneath. But again, I didn't want the shelf to go all the way out. Wanted to leave enough room so where I could, put a stool up against it. So if I needed to sit there to do anything, I could. Now, the really only thing that's left to do is we need to put our caster wheels on it, which I plan on doing tomorrow. And I'm also going to put some 2x8 around the outside. And there's many reasons for that. Number one is that I plan on putting my chop saw and putting a station right here in the middle, so I can mount the chop saw. And then the boards that are going to stick up on the sides right here will be about the same height as the chop saw, so I can get a level piece to cut across. It's kind of hard to explain, but chop saw is only like 20 inches wide, and when you've got something really, really long that you're cutting, trying to hold it down in place without having something for it to rest on the end can be difficult. So you'll kind of get what I'm doing with that. But again, I'm going to continue this tomorrow. We've got our bench put together. So our workbench is now done. I've got the caster wheels installed, and what I've done is I've put locking wheels on the front of this workbench, and I've got non-locking wheels on the back. So this way I can move it around and I can lock it in place wherever I want. The other thing, which I mentioned, was I installed 2x8 around the outside edge. Now, there was two reasons for this. Number one is the way I've kind of mocked it up for you so you could see, is that if I'm cutting something, I want to be able to slide this piece back and forth, but I want it to be supported on this end and this end while I'm cutting. Again, you can see this chop saw is pretty small. It's only about 22, 23 inches wide. So very difficult to cut something if it's not supported on one end or another. Now, the other reason why I put this 2x8 here is because of where this is going to be going. If I've got stuff on this bench, I don't want it rolling off the back and having to find it. So, I kind of gave it what they would call in kitchen terms a backsplash, if you will. But nonetheless, this project is done. Now we just have to find a home for it, which will be somewhere over there. Okay, so we found a home for the workbench right back here. And as you can see, it's already got a bunch of crap on it. So that was the intention though, is to give myself a little more space, but give myself something that I could move out of the way, take it across the other side, and do whatever cutting, sanding, whatever I needed to. So I'll find room for the other crap. As always, thanks for watching my channel. See you next time in the What Now Workshop.